Dear students, in this video we are going to discuss about filters in PHP. PHP is a open source language. In that we are going to see the filters. Myself Dr. Anand Christy, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Computer Application, St.Joseph College of Arts and Science, Cuddalore. Now we will see the types of filters. Here, first one is for validating data. Second one is sanitizing the data. Validating data determines if the data is in a proper format. Then sanitizing data removes illegal character from the data. For validating data, we can get the proper messages from the user. For example, if we enter the email ID, the user may say enter a different format which is not your email ID at all. So we can validate whether it is your proper form. Likewise, if we ask the phone number with a 10-digit number, the user may enter 5 digits or 6 digits. So it is not a valid phone number. For that, we need to validate whether the user is inputting the right numbers. For that, validating data is very much useful. Second, sanitizing data. Sanitizing data will remove any illegal character from the data. If the data is given, in that there may be some illegal data. For example, the tags, HTML tags or special characters can be removed using the sanitizing the data. Now we'll see the validating and sanitizing data with filters. Sanitizing and validating user input is one of the most common tasks in the web application. To make this task easier, PHP provides a native filter extension that we can use to sanitize or validate data such as email ID, URL, IP address, etc. Using this, we can validate mail address as well as URLs, then IP address likewise. To validate data using filter extension, you need to use the PHP filter_var function. Filter_var function contains 3 parameters. First one, the parameter is the value to be filtered. Then second, the parameter is the ID of the filter what we are going to apply. Then third parameter is the array of options related to the filter. Sanitize a string. The following example will sanitize a string by removing all HTML tags from it. Here there is a PHP code, and in that we can see that comment. There is a variable called comment. We know that the PHP variable will be starting with $sign. So comment is a variable. In that we are storing a message, hey there, how are you? In that message contains HTML tags, that is H1, heading tag. So we are going to remove that heading tag from that. Hey there, how are you doing today is the message that should be executed here. Then we can see sanitize and print comment string. There should be again we are declaring a variable sanitized comment. Then we are using the function name filter_var. Then the first argument, that is the comment, is given. In that comment we are having either how are you doing today. Then we are using the filter name filter sanitize string. While applying this, we are removing the HTML tag, that is H1 tag, from that the comment variable. The remaining part will be stored in the comments. Then we are getting the sanitized command as the echo, that we are giving the output message. For printing a message, we are using the echo statements. Then output will be like this: hey there, how are you doing today? Then second, we can see how to validate integer values. The following example will validate whether the value is a valid integer or not. In this example, we can see there is a variable int, and that we are storing the number 20. Then there is the if condition filter where is a method what we are using. Then first argument the message, that is int, is given. Then the filter name, filter validate integer. Here we are checking the given number is integer or not. Then if it is an integer, we are getting the output as the 20 is a valid integer. The 20 will be given in a bold tag. If it is not an integer value, for example, we are not giving 20, instead of 20 we are giving ABCD, like that means we will get the else parts, that is the message, that is ABC is not a valid integer. So that we are checking whether the given value is integer or not. For that we are using the filter name, filter underscore validate underscore int. In the previous example, if variable int is set to 0 means the example code will display invalid integer message. That is, if you assign the value 0 means it will give the output as it is not a valid integer. For that we have to check one more, that is we have to check twice. In this example we can see integer value is set to 0, then we are using the filter var function integer, then filter underscore validate underscore integer, we are checking if it is 0. If it is 0 also it is an integer. Then using OR condition, that is pipeline symbol to pipeline symbol representing the OR condition. Then again we are using the filter var function. Then normally we are using filter validate integer. If you mention a 0 to the variable int means it gives the valid integer. Otherwise it goes to the else part and gives it is not a valid integer. Now we'll see how to validate an IP address. The following example will validate whether the value is a valid IP address or not. Here there is a variable IP stored with an IP address 172.16.254.1. It is the IP address stored in that variable IP. Now we will see the if condition filter var function. Then first argument is the value that is stored in IP. Then second argument we are giving a filter underscore validate underscore IP. Here the IP address is checking whether it is a valid or not. If it is a valid IP address means you will get the message 172.16.254.1 is a valid IP address. If it is not, the else part will be executing, that is it is not a valid IP address. Now we can see we can further apply validation for IPv4 or IPv6 IP addresses by using filter flag IPv4 or filter flag IPv6 flags, that is Internet Protocol version 4 or Internet Protocol version 6 IP addresses. Here the example, you can see the IP address stored in a variable IP 172.16.254.1. Here we are checking using filter var method. First argument the IP address, the variable name is given. Second filter validate IP. Then again that IP is the IPv6 address, that is Internet Protocol version 6 address. Validate filter flag IPv6. If it is true, you will get a message that it is a valid IPv6. If it is not, it goes to the else part. It is not a valid IPv6 address. Next one, we will see how to sanitize and validate email address. The following example will show you how to sanitize and validate email address. First one, we are seeing that a variable email will be stored with a variable email address someone@example.com. First, we will removing illegal characters from the email. Using that email filter underscore where email filter underscore sanitize underscore email. That there is two symbols are there. We can remove one from that. Using this, we can remove illegal characters from an email address. Then secondly, validate email address. If filter where function, if condition we are using filter where function, then email address will be stored in a variable email. Then there is a filter underscore validate underscore email. The filter is given here. If it is a proper valid email address means you will get a message that is the given email ID is a valid email address. Otherwise, you will get the else part. The given email ID is not a valid email address. Then we will see sanitize and validate URLs. Here, in a URL variable, we are storing the URL name HTTP ::, we are using here, then /www.example.com. First, we are removing all illegal characters from the URL. There should be a single colon should be there. The second column will be removed using this URL filter where URL there is a variable name. Then filter underscore sanitize underscore URL will sanitize, that is remove the illegal characters from the URL. Then we are checking that will be stored in the URL variable. Again we are checking it is a proper address or not. If filter where function URL filter underscore validate underscore URL will be used to check whether it is a proper URL or not. If it is a proper URL, you will get a message www.example.com is a valid website URL. Otherwise, you will get the else part message that is www.example.com is not a valid website URL. Then we will see validate integer within the range. The following example will validate whether the supplied value is an integer or not, as well as whether it lies within the range of 0 to 100 or not. Here an example is given. In a variable integer we are storing the number 75. Then we are checking if filter where function integer we are storing 75 filter underscore validate underscore integer, checking whether it is the valid integer number. Then second, we are checking options, array of options, that is the range, minimum range is 0, the maximum range is 100. So this number is placed between 0 to 100, we are checking. If it is within this range means we are getting the message the 75 is within the range of 0 to 100. If we give 175 means it is not within the range, so that we will get the else part message that is 175 is not within the range of 0 to 100. Thank you for watching.